It is critical that we all review the material in this Ripple versus SE deck. What do you anticipate happening on May 6th in regards to Ripple's ongoing legal battle with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission? Significant changes to the XRP price are a result of this transaction. Neither party has confirmed whether Andrea Fox, who is presently the Assistant Chief Accountant at the Securities and Exchange Commission, will attend the meeting. She should have no problem with Ripple letting her draft a letter defending its decision to ignore more expert testimony. The input provided by the corporation was the sole item included in this letter. These individuals think that Fox should have submitted his claims during the discovery phase of the proceedings, while the process of finding solutions was underway. These people consider Fox's comments to be those of an expert witness. Before May 6th, the SEC is expected to provide a response, and subsequently, the court will announce a verdict. A report detailing Ripple's present financial situation, including comments made by Assistant Chief Accountant Andrea Fox, was just recently made public by the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC). The statements in question were finally made after a little while. According to Ripple, the new experts who made the claims should have filed them earlier during the remedial discovery phase of the litigation, but for whatever reason, that phase is already ended. New experts, according to Ripple, made these claims. Instead of viewing Fox's claims as expert testimony, the Securities and Exchange Commission viewed them as grounded on facts and simple mathematics. Late Friday night, the SEC petitioned the court to deny Ripple's motion to dismiss the lawsuit based on these newly discovered expert documents. The case came before the judge. A letter arguing on behalf of Ripple states that Andrea Fox is qualified to testify as an expert witness due to statements she made while serving as the SEC's Assistant Chief Accountant. The case began with Ripple presenting their argument. It is disclosed in the letter that early in the investigation, when the main goal was to find Ripple, Fox should have made public her study, in which she investigates Ripple's financial records using her accounting expertise. The fact that the explanation is included in the letter indicates this. The letter from Ripple states that the SEC was obligated to provide this information before that section was completed. That letter was sent by Ripple. This was true regardless of whether Fox was testifying as an expert witness or a summary witness. The SEC is expected to respond by May 6th, according to our expectations. Afterwards, the court will decide how much Ripple must pay in fines and penalties for selling XRP to institutions while the SEC investigates the issue. If Ripple had $10 million, they would be a fantastic firm. In response to Ripple's most recent arguments, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) will deliver a response on May 6th. For the foreseeable future, the SEC is likely to keep trying to dissuade Ripple from selling XRP to major investors. Since they recently challenged Ripple's request to exclude more expert evidence, it's probable that they will also ask a judge to halt the selling of XRP to institutional investors. Moreover, the likelihood of their doing so is quite high. We can only hope that they are successful in their endeavors to elevate their status, but it is evident that they are trying. The remaining submissions will be made when Judge Annalisa Torres decides on the sanctions for Ripple selling XRP to institutional customers. These submissions are scheduled to be made soon. It is likely that the choices accessible to the SEC for lobbying for particular sanctions will be limited if Ripple succeeds in disputing Fox's announcement. The year 2020 is winding down, and something may happen then. Legal action has been taken by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) against Ripple. The SEC claims that Ripple has lost money due to selling XRP and has violated securities regulations. Trading XRP on platforms is not the same as trading securities, according to a ruling released by a court in July. The verdict was handed out by the judge. Some very encouraging news has come to Ripple. You must always bear in mind that there is a continual battle for sales possibilities with major buyers. Legal proceedings against SEC, meanwhile, continue even as we speak. An excessive period of time passed before Ripple responded. In what is widely regarded as the most important continuing judicial procedure involving the cryptocurrency business, new papers have been submitted to the judge by both Ripple Labs and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. As the case was ongoing in court, the defendant moved to exclude newly created expert testimony. Upon first review, the SEC expressed its apprehension about the deal. For some time now, Ripple's XRP, their virtual currency, has been losing value. The Securities and Exchange Commission has decided not to back Ripple in their planned strike. An opposing brief allegedly submitted by the commission to the court states that the perpetrator has already left the scene of the crime. Because her assertions lack what seems like substantial evidence, if any evidence at all, accountant Andrea Fox's statements are hard to believe. The watchdog cannot believe these claims were made by experts given the current state of affairs. It has come to light that the SEC did not accept Ripple's claims that it had clandestinely sought an expert witness. This is a crucial realization. In contrast, Ripple's legal team claims that the commission's decision to name Fox as a summary witness makes it extremely difficult for Ripple to present any fresh evidence. This makes me question whether the precise criteria for discovery are being adhered to. Ripple will be the center of attention as everyone gets ready to reply. At the latest, the accused were expected to respond by May 2nd. XRP, Ripple's original coin, has a troubled past and is now facing a slew of problems. On Tuesday, it displayed a green index, which caused XRP's release condition to alter. It had not done that for quite some time, thus, this was actually its first occurrence of that. The Ripple team has spoken out against what they see as Andrea Fox's or the Fox unprofessional attitude, which goes by a few names. The SEC has determined that the declaration can be used as a summary witness statement under Federal Rule of Evidence 106, which goes against Ripple's claims. Because it was used to discourage calculations inside the organization, that's why. By examining some financial and sales data from Ripple, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) is clearly providing assistance to the court by estimating prejudgment interest on what it calls oughten proceeds. This is so even though the SEC disagrees with Fox's claims regarding the subject. This is the rationale for supporting the scant evidence that the SEC relied on. This type of record includes things like audited financial accounts and tax reports. They are the primary sources for most of the data used in the study. The SEC has determined that neither financial gain nor the opinions of any particular expert or member of the professional community supported the declaration. In its stead, mathematical proof of Ripple's accounting system's operation is given to the court. Its willingness to accept quick proof is an element of its argument. The data provided in the Fox declaration has not been challenged by Ripple with respect to its veracity, according to the SEC. The structure of the Fox declaration is to blame for this. It is Ripple's contention that the assertion made by the declaration regarding its status as expert evidence is incorrect. In response to this argument, the SEC cited a previous decision that clarified that expert witness summaries cannot be used when the accounting techniques mentioned in the declaration are not acknowledged as expert opinions in the SEC's summary material. This choice was reached after careful consideration of the earlier argument. Andrea Fox, who has a background in accounting, also fails to draw on her expertise in her analysis of Ripple's financial situation in the statement she has supplied. Something like this ought to be considered by you. The only subject, though, is not mathematics. Fox was allegedly not involved in any way with Ripple's independent financial record keeping or any major financial decisions, according to the lawsuit. Instead, she had to decipher a mountain of information so she could better explain it to the court. That was her job. According to the SEC, Ripple had used the same line of reasoning in a previous case involving the testimony of a different senior staff accountant, but Judge Torres had rejected it. Along with that, the SEC thinks this rejection was unsuccessful in that specific case. This leads many to believe that Ripple's recent statements were baseless. There has been no violation of the Federal Civil Procedure statutes, according to the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC). According to the SEC, the Fox declaration did not need to be made public in advance as expert evidence as it does not meet any of the criteria for public disclosure. The need to make it public is therefore waived because of this. Until further notice, that is my position on the subject.